Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free. Now they're cellulose free.
Hello dear listener and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin and with me as always is my fellow film watcher, compadre and son, Thomas.
Hi, hello.
Insert probing question here.
Answer. Elaboration on answer. Increasingly lengthy and possibly over-descriptive continuation of answer. Yes.
And then I attempt to rein you back in.
Yes. And sometimes it works.
Good.
Sometimes it doesn't. Right. No. I have been on the Derwent Ferry.
Oh, you went on the Derwent Ferry.
I went on the Derwent Ferry.
Ah.
I have always thought that certain local councillors' passion for the Derwent Ferry project feels a little disproportionate compared to the idea, which is a ferry which takes about as long to cross the river as you would any other way. But I have now been on the ferry.
Yes.
Both ways. And it is quite nice.
Good.
Yes.
Good. So you must have spent the better part of a day in town.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So you went across and
I went across.
And then you caught...
And then I came back. Yeah.
Okay, right.
The times, not particularly convenient for me.
No. The times
personally.
The times are predominantly designed for commuters going to work
and then coming back. As long as those commuters work in a specific time frame.
A sort of a 9 to 5 traditional time frame.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not particularly helpful for any other people.
No, I have full intentions of taking advantage of said ferry service, but I also need to work out exactly how I'm going to utilise it in the best way possible. Because it is free if you have a bus pass. So, yes.
And they do say that if you do not have one, then you will have to make a payment, but I have not seen any method by which they are taking payment, so...
Right.
Who's to say?
A gold coin donation.
Yeah.
Or you make a wish in the middle of the Derwent. At
stages, it does get a little bumpy, but it is to be expected from water.
Yes.
And being on water.
It would have been quite rough today, so you chose your day well, I think, compared to...
Which was yesterday.
Yep.
A bit nippy if you go up onto the top deck, but it's nicely air-conditioned on the inside, so that's...
Okay.
That's nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, good on you. I hope that... did you fill in a questionnaire?
I have not filled in a questionnaire.
Right.
No.
Do they have an online one? Or?
I think so, somewhere. The only real criticism that I have of it is that the timing is completely wrong for anything that I'd want to do.
Yes.
And as a result, I got back at 6.
You want a leisurely cruise rather than a form of transportation?
No, I do want a form of transportation. I want it to be able to transport me at a time that is convenient.
To you.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And it takes you from Belrive to where the Monaroma sets off and back in about 15 minutes. I mean, looking at it, from afar, it did look a bit slow, but then you get on it and you're over there and you've barely finished hearing the safety announcements.
If the cabin suffers from a sudden drop in pressure...
Drop in pressure is probably not going to be the problem.
No, it's an increase in pressure. Yes. Did you identify where your nearest safety vest was?
No, I didn't. I have no idea where the safety vests are on that thing. Good.
So
I know there are.
So
they
you were
told
paying
me
attention
they were there.
to the... Right, good.
But I don't know where.
I'm proud of you, son, for paying attention to those vital details.
I don't know how much I paid attention, because I can't remember any of the words.
No. Well, apparently the whole missing of the where are the life jackets are possibly a glaring omission in your recollection.
Yeah, what about you?
What about me? No, nothing really. I had a new therapist yesterday. Mm-hmm. He has a thick Spanish accent, which I just need to get my brain around. But he certainly speaks English better than I speak Spanish. So although I did say hola, ¿cómo estás to him, and he was most impressed. Anyway, and yes, so back to square one as far as therapist is concerned, which is not a wonderful place to be, but hey, this is the way things are. So
the alternative is not having one.
No, exactly. Yes, and that's possibly not a wise move at the moment. So anyway, I've got nothing else.
Right.
Other than a quick shout out to Disney Plus, to a show that is possibly not getting as much love as it possibly could be getting due to other bigger shows happening. If you want to check out a sort of a cross between Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events and Alex Rider, and a far more kiddie-friendly Umbrella Academy show, then I suggest checking out the Mysterious Benedict Society, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you've just reminded me that I have What If to watch.
Oh, What If is on now, is it?
Yes, I have What If to watch after we've finished up here.
Ah.
So that'll be a wide range of experiences, I'm sure.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
Speaking of a wide range of experiences...
Yes.
We have to experience a film.
We do.
That is the whole purpose of this podcast. And what film, pray tell, did you select for our viewing pleasure this week?
We are watching just one of 5 films, not from Disney or Pixar, to have won the Academy Award for Best Animated Picture.
Oh, it did it?
It did.
Ah.
And just one of 8 films not produced by Pixar specifically that won Best Animated Picture. Pixar just wins a lot of Best Animated Picture.
They do.
For some reason.
Yes.
That's definitely not uninformed voters. Definitely not.
Oh, it's a Pixar film. It's going to be good. Which isn't...
My children told me about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we are watching... Sorry, did you say what it was?
I didn't say what it was.
No, you didn't.
It is...
Another one-word film.
Yes.
To join with Hugo, Moon, Wall-E. Well, that could be 2 words. The birds, that's
5.
stretching it.
This is the Nickelodeon production, Rango.
Which I'm still sort of getting my head around, that it was actually produced by the Nickelodeon Animated Production Company, or was it animated by somebody else?
Nickelodeon Movies.
Okay.
Which is the theatrical motion picture production division for the American Children's Network, Nickelodeon.
Right. So I'm a bit gobsmacked by that and impressed. And all that being said, am I going to be re-impressed by watching it again? I've seen it a couple of times, but it's been a very, very long time since I last watched it.
It has been a while for me, yes.
What is it about?
Rango, a pet chameleon who aspires to be a hero, lands in a drought-affected town plagued by bandits. He claims to be the saviour and makes an attempt to protect it, says the description from the Google Knowledge Box.
The Google Knowledge Box. Thank you, Google Knowledge Box. Is that linked to Wikipedia?
No. I don't know what this
grabbed that from.
Is grabbing from.
It's obviously the Google Knowledge Box, the box that is full of knowledge. Good. We're going to watch that. Yeah? We're going to stream it on one of many streaming services, apparently.
Which I may have lied to Mum about exactly which ones. But
you know what happens to liars, don't you?
They have noses that become lengthy.
That's right.
Right, yes. Let us watch this on the television that is across the room from us.
Yes.
That is the plan.
I don't know what we're watching it on, but that's what we're going to do. And we'll watch it and come back and talk about it and catch you on the flip side.
Turn side B.
Mongrel. Okay, the deranged cat is on the prowl, but we go on regardless. What did you think?
It's a good film. It's good to have a good film after last week.
It's certainly a bit of a contrast to last week's film. It's brilliant.
It is.
It just is such a solid film. The penny dropped in the closing credits. I confess, previously, being somewhat stunned at a Nickelodeon film getting an Oscar. But the closing credits gave away somewhat of an explanation of that. In reality, it was Industrial Light and Magic's first animated film.
Yes, I looked at the main on-end credits and said feature animation by Industrial Light and Magic, and I'm like, ooh, that's interesting.
And it was doubly interesting because there was a scene that I thought, wow, this feels like the pod racer scene being done right. And then in the closing credits, everything just came together, and I tips my hat to them, my big 10-gallon hat to them. It really is just a finely honed film. The right level of everything.
Just poking at Western tropes, just enough. To not be silly. Although it is a very silly film.
Very silly film. And certainly poking at those tropes, but also displaying a deep respect for the genre as well. It never disrespects it, I don't think. There's just so many things that are going through my head. That just so many could be cliched characters, but amplified to such a finessed level that they totally belong there. That there's nobody out of place. Everyone is important. Every character is important. Right down to the wind-up fish. Yeah, it was an important character.
Yeah, you have to establish the loneliness of this chameleon.
Yeah. Speaking of chameleons, another penny drop. Maybe I'm really, really slow, but I don't remember having this dawn on me the last couple of times that I watched it. Was how he copied people,
Mm-hmm.
the walking styles and things like that. Now, that isn't necessarily what a chameleon does physically, but a chameleon copies things. To blend in with surroundings, he duplicates things. And that scene entering the town where he mimics those walks, I'm suddenly thinking, he's mimicking. He's a chameleon.
Yeah.
Duh.
Oh, right.
Am I reading too much into that? Or
No,
does that,
no. That's just hit me as well.
Yeah. I was just...
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
Chameleon as actor.
Yes. Yep.
Oh. Okay. This film makes a very important distinction between appealing and attractive.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of very appealing character designs in this film, but I don't think any of them are attractive.
No. Even the cutest little girl is ugly.
Yes.
In the sense of physicality. And yet, she is still a cute little girl.
Yeah. It's a very, very difficult thing to do, I think, to get that right.
Yep.
And they have got that right.
Yeah.
And it's... And the film moves along. I don't think it lingers anywhere for too long.
And there are certainly some slow moments,
Yes.
but they are beautiful slow moments. You know, moments in the desert, the embers floating up into the sky. The scene where he leaves the town, that's quite a slow segment, but...
That needs to be slow.
Yeah, and the montage of looking down at the traffic.
Yeah. It's just very well put together. And it is fairly impressive that it even happened.
Right.
Gore Verbinski, who also did Pirates of the Caribbean and found that to be a very expensive exercise,
Right.
said that his attempt with Rango was to do a small film. Underestimating how painstaking and time-consuming and expensive that animated filmmaking is.
Yep.
And Paramount basically saved the film by giving it more money.
Okay.
Paramount wasn't involved until his money was running out.
I mean, they must have seen its brilliance. Because that is really weird that they invested so late in it.
And even so, it was shot in 2D and not 3D, because the budget didn't allow for it, and Verbinski didn't want to do a half-assed job.
Yep.
And it doesn't need to be 3D.
No.
Nothing needs to be 3D.
No. I think we've well and truly established that it has been a ongoing passing fad, and I say good on them for not going in that direction. I'm gushing, and I think, Thomas, you're gushing too.
I am a bit, yes.
I'm so glad that came up, and that my recollections of enjoying it are more than reflected.
There is a reason that I put this on my list.
Yep.
And it's not that it was a bad film.
No.
Because it's a very good film.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, you should.
You really, really should. Do yourself a favour. In Australia, it is on Stan.
Not on Netflix.
And not on Netflix.
No.
Possibly
in the US. It Just Watch said that it's on Prime Video in Australia, and I haven't checked that.
Yep.
But I have the capability to do so, and now that I've put that idea in my head,
you have to follow that until...
I have to follow it through.
Yeah.
Because to do otherwise would be irresponsible.
Totally irresponsible.
Yes, it is. It is on Prime Video here in Australia.
Yep.
I don't know about the US, and now I'm I'm checking in the US too, because if I don't do it, even though it's unimportant, absolutely unimportant to the progress of this podcast, I'm going to forget, and I'm going to remember that I've forgotten. And that's the worst part.
That is absolutely the worst.
You know that you have forgotten something. Something. Anything. But not what it was.
Not what it was.
It is on Netflix in the US.
Okay, cool. I don't think we've hyped it up too much. Yes.
It's good. It's good.
It's good.
Go watch it. Go watch it.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, do it. Music is brilliant.
Yep.
A Hans Zimmer soundtrack that doesn't sound like a Hans Zimmer soundtrack. Oh, yes, I really, really needed that film this week. It brings me joy.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you wish to... we could go on. We could pick it apart and think of favourite spots, but that would be
just
unfair to anyone who hasn't watched it.
Just the themes of progress.
Yes.
And what progress does.
Mm-hmm.
And what progress leaves behind.
Yeah.
It's just very good.
Do yourself a favour. Do watch Rango. It's 10 years old.
It is. It is. Which is a surprising thing.
Can you do me a favour?
Uh-huh.
And tell me when Kubo and the Two Strings
It's
came
more
out.
2016.
That's right. Okay. So 5 years later.
And 5 years ago.
And 5 years ago.
Almost exactly 5 years ago.
Okay. I don't think that is on either of our lists. But...
if it's not, that's a glaring
it
omission.
is. Because I think I might cheat.
I would be disappointed in myself if it wasn't on
Yeah.
my list.
Yeah.
Yes, it is on my list, but
Okay.
you're welcome to steal it.
Yeah. Yeah, look, okay.
It is on your list also.
Oh, it is on my list?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay. I'm glad, because as far as emotional connections are concerned, a totally different film, but yes, that is up there in my mind as being a special, solid animated film.
Right.
So that's jumping the gun a bit, possibly.
That is jumping the gun a bit.
Are we done with Rango?
I think we're done.
I think we are done with Rango.
Yes.
Yes. Other than I need to not leave it so long between viewings. Yep.
There are so many films that are like that.
There
and so
are.
little time to get to them.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to that untitled segment.
The following segment needs a little more time in the oven. It's done now. Helen made a comment referring to my comment about a particular segment feeling like Thomas the Tank Engine. And of course, the approach to cinematography is really just an homage to Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, but...
Yes, absolutely.
No question about it.
I think it said it in Wikipedia somewhere that the correlation is very definite there.
I don't think there's anything else, though.
No, thank you, dear listener Helen.
For making this segment happen.
That's right. Well, let's move on.
Please do get in touch with us if you have any comments at all.
Yeah.
As we are distracted.
I would love to hear any of our dear listeners who have seen Rango who didn't like it.
That would be interesting.
It would be.
I would like to hear that.
Yes.
I would be surprised, because it's a very good film.
Yeah.
But I would like to hear it.
Yeah. All right.
Do write in.
Do. We're everywhere.
If you're on YouTube right now listening to this, you have a box right now that you can...
Just down there.
Just down there.
Down there.
Down below the doobly-doo.
Yeah. Down below the doobly-doo. And while you're at it, hit subscribe and the bell, and what else do they have to hit?
Like
Like
the
it.
video.
Like the video. Yes.
No, but you can't join our membership program because we don't have one.
We don't. No.
Sorry.
We do this out of our own pockets. No expense spared. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed. So it's your turn.
It is my turn.
It is your turn.
And I did have something planned.
Oh.
But I've sort of thrown that out the window. And maybe that's the wrong thing to do. Maybe we should be saving Kubo for when we need it.
Oh, I'm sure there's an interesting conversation to be had.
not-
The thing is, I don't know what your plan A was.
That can wait too. So
Yeah.
no, let's go for Kubo.
Okay. Kubo and the Two Strings.
Yes.
Produced by Leica.
Yep.
And there's an interesting story to be had there.
There is. It is another animated film, but a completely different animation style and technique, and a lot of stop motion. I will not say the entire film is stop motion. They do use other techniques for backgrounds and things like that, but predominantly the character animations are stop motion, and
I mean, fair enough.
brilliantly done.
If the way that you're going to supplement things requires a different style, then you go for it.
Absolutely. The melding of things that they do is absolutely brilliant. And I hope I'm not hyping myself up here, but
Okay.
please tell us.
Yes.
Please tell our dear listener the plot synopsis for
I shall tell them
Kubo.
before I shake myself to bits here.
Yes.
And I'm going to be skipping over a lot of parenthetical references to the actors involved because there are an awful lot of them.
There are heaps.
Yes. Clever, kind-hearted Kubo ekes out a humble living, telling stories to the people of his seaside town, including Hisato, Akihiro, and Kameo. But his relatively quiet existence is shattered when he accidentally summons a spirit from his past, which storms down from the heavens to enforce an age-old vendetta. Now on the run, Kubo joins forces with Monkey and Beetle and sets out on a thrilling quest to save his family and solve the mystery of his fallen father, the greatest samurai warrior the world has ever known. With the help of his shamisen, a magical musical instrument, Kubo must battle gods and monsters, including the vengeful Moon King and the evil twin sisters, to unlock the secret of his legacy, reunite his family, and fulfill his heroic destiny. And the reason that is such a long description
My goodness.
is because I'm not reading it off the back of the case. Because the back of the case has not been scanned, and as such, not been transcribed. And so I'm taking it from the connected movie in the database.
Good grief, that was long. And sounds rubbish. So, we are watching Kubo and the Two Strings next week.
Next week.
We hope that you can join us. But until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye. You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us, in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
And we'll watch it and come back and talk about it and catch you on the flip side.
Don't say B.
Mongrel. Okay.
No, the true mongrel is you for coming up with
I don't know how that happened, actually.
increasingly strange ways to...
Well, that was very, very spur of the moment. That was not planned, so I'm quietly impressed with myself. Yeah. Considering how quick my brain is at the moment.
Let's watch the film.
Let's watch the film. Rango.
Rango. Rango. Rango.